Hi everyone, I'm Daria. Today we're gonna knit double-sided beanie. Welcome back to Daria Crochet Life. On this channel I post knitting and crochet lessons, simple and not so simple tutorials on how to make different knitting and crochet projects. So if any of that interests you, please subscribe to my channel. Alright, let's talk about all the materials and tools that you will need for today's tutorial. So first of all, let's talk about yarn. And this is my main yarn. I'm going to use these two balls. So let me show you the label. This yarn is from the brand Lil Red Kettle hat. And this one particularly is simply worsted. So this is a hand-dyed yarn. I got it on the trunk show and it's made in Ontario, so I really wanted to support local hand dyers, and I decided to buy this yarn, and I picked this color. First one was ruby and another one is lavender. Lavender. So this yarn is 100% wool. Yeah, here you can see the website if you're interested, Facebook and Instagram links. And this is 100% merino wool, and in 100-gram ball it is 199 meters or 218 yards. We are recommended to use 4.5 or 5 millimeter needles, and here you can see the care instructions. But I'm not going to use these needles because I will make a hat, so that's why I will work with smaller needles. So I want my fabric to be tighter than this one, and that's why my gauge would be slightly different. That is over here. I will also need a small amount of any yarn that is more or less the same in terms of weight. This one is probably a little bit thicker, but that's okay. And the only thing that you need to pay attention on is the color. So the color of the waste yarn should be different from your main yarn. We will need that for provisional cast on. Let's talk about needles. So I will work with these circular needles. It is 3.5 millimeter needles. I'm sorry, they're very old, but I really love them. I think I have them for maybe 20 years. And you see they used to be blue, but now not so much. Okay, so those are my main needles, but I will also need a crochet hook. No worries if you don't know how to crochet, I'm gonna show you how to do that. And crochet hook can be 3.5 or 4 millimeter needle, or 4 millimeter, it doesn't really matter, since my waste yarn is a little bit thicker, so that's why I decided to take a 4 millimeter crochet hook. You will also need measuring tape, scissors, tapestry needle. Tapestry needle, that's this needle with the big hole. Sometimes it's called yarn needle, and my favorite type is this one. When there are when it is a slightly bended tip, it's very easy to work with this needle. And you will also need stitch markers, so try to find these guys that you can I think these guys are the best, that you can open and close. It doesn't really matter, you can take just like a little circle, so that will work as well. Okay, let's start making our hat. First of all, we need to do some calculations, so let me draw real quick the like how our hat will look like. It's the easiest hat possible, like easiest beanie possible, and it would be double-sided, and both of them would be very similar. Okay, so that's our final result. You need two measurements. The first one is head circumference. I'm gonna make it for myself, and my head circumference is so that's measurement A. So in my case, measurement A is 58 centimeters. And another measurement B, so that's from the like beginning of the brim to the end, so the head length. I don't know how long I want it to be, so we will decide. I think around, like, let's say 20 centimeters or maybe more. like question mark. Okay, so we will play around that. I will think about that a little bit later, so it's not important right now. And now let me explain you how we will do. We will start from this point. We will cast on certain amount of stitches. That's why right now we need this measurement A, because that will affect on how many stitches we should cast on at the very beginning. Then and the cast on that we will use is a provisional cast on. What's provisional cast on is that you do it like special certain way. I will show you everything, no worries. And then you will have your open stitches like on one side, right, like normal, but then you will have open stitches on the other side. And if you want, and obviously you want, later you can, like when you finish your head, like finish your first layer, then you pick up those stitches and you will do another layer which is exactly the same amount of stitches and rows, and you will have this kind of shape, so like a peanut shape. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do today, and we will start from the middle. And it's good when you have one layer in one color, another in the other color. I mean, that's optional. That's if you want to do that, and that's what I want to do, and that's what we'll do today. So right now we need to find out how many stitches we will cast on at the very beginning. So first of all, you need to take your needles, you need to take your yarn, and you need to make a swatch. When you will make a swatch, so that should be a square, minimum 5 by 5 inches or 12.5 by 12.5 centimeters. Then you look at the label, you see these care instructions, and you follow them, and you wash your swatch exactly like it's recommended on the label. Then you dry it like it's recommended on the label, and then you can measure with your measuring tape how many stitches you have in 10 centimeters or in 4 inches, and how many rows you have in 10 centimeters or 4 inches. My gauge is 21 stitches equals 10 centimeters. So that means that in 1 centimeter I have 2.1 stitches. So then it's very easy math. I take my 58 centimeters times 2.1 stitches. This one is 121.8. And I don't think that, okay, obviously we cannot cast on this number, we need a whole number. So that's why we need to bring it to next whole number. I don't know, let's say 122, but I want it to be a little bit more fitted. So that's why I will eliminate a couple stitches, and I will cast on 120 stitches. That's just because I want it to be a little bit more fitted. So this is 120, that's my beginning number of stitches that I will cast on over here. Okay, now let's do it. We will do provisional cast on with the hook. So there are several ways how to do provisional cast on, and today I'm going to teach you how to do it with the hook. So take your waste yarn, take your hook, and first thing that you need to do, like leave a little bit like longer end like this one, and you need to make a slip stitch. So drape your yarn over the index finger, twirl the index finger to create a loop, then insert your thumb into that loop, and then you see, don't catch this short end, I'm holding it with these two fingers, but catch the working yarn with your index and thumb of your right hand like this and hold it. Then you can drop everything from your right hand, but still holding the loop. Take these two ends with your left hand and pull to the opposite directions, like that. So you created a slip knot. After that, take your hook, hold it over here, like in the middle, insert your hook into the loop, and pull the working yarn to adjust the size of the loop. Okay, make sure that the knot is very tight so you will not mix it with the stitch. And after that, we need to make certain number of chain stitches. And what's the number? It's our beginning number that we're supposed to cast on at the very beginning. So, okay, how you hold your yarn in your left hand? You put the working yarn over your index. These 3 fingers, they're going around the working yarn. Then you bend them, or just 2, ring and pinky finger, and then middle finger and thumb taking the knot under the loop, like this. And you're ready to start crocheting. In my case, I need to make 120 chains. So how to make a chain? You make a yarn over, so hook is going under the yarn, and then you pull through. Make it a little bit bigger, adjust the size, move your fingers, and make another chain. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through. So I did 3 chains. I can count. On the right side, I should see V's. V, V, and V. So 1, 2, 3. And I keep working like that until I will have desired number of stitches. In my case, that's 120. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through. All right, I finished my foundational chain and I have 120 stitches right now. So I took away the hook, make this last loop as big as possible. And then you need to look on the wrong side of the foundational chain. So from the right side, you should see those V's, but from the wrong side, if I turn it over, you will see bumps. So this is a bump, this is a bump, bump, bump. And we will use them for picking up stitches right now. So you see, I already have my needles and I need just 1 needle. And I insert my needle into the first stitch. So be careful, don't use front 2 loops. You see, this is my loop and this is my first chain or last chain, and I'm not going to use these 2 loops. No, if you see V, that's wrong. So you need to turn it over and you need to use the first bump. So you insert your needle through that loop, and then you take your yarn, and I'm going to work with this pink yarn right now. And it doesn't matter if you're English or continental knitter, so you work the same way. First, you can make a loop, insert it on your needle, and then pull it through like that. So then you insert your needle into the next bump, take the working yarn and knit it like this. Make sure that all stitches are the same size. And I prefer to work a little bit tighter because it's a hat. I don't want it to be too loose. So go into the next chain from the back and knit that stitch. And you work like this to the very, very end. Okay. Let me show you, like, let's say you work with the English knitter. So you hold your working yarn with your right hand. So you insert your needle into the next bump, and then you do your normal, regular knit stitch. I'm not so good at this knitting, but yeah, you still can do it. Oh. So, and from time to time, check yourself if you're doing it correctly. You're doing it correctly if at the bottom you will see your V, you will see your chains, nice with 2 sides. If something is wrong, you will not see a V, okay? So work like this to the very, very end. Just insert it's very easy. You insert your needle into the next bump, and you knit that stitch. That's it. Alright, so I finished casting on my stitches. Please count your stitches, make sure that you have correct number. So I have 120 stitches as planned before, and as you can see, my waste yarn, my green yarn, is creating really nice like chain along the whole edge right now. So yeah, if you see that this chain is broken somewhere, so that means you made a mistake. All right, you know what, I think I'm gonna cut this green yarn over here, and okay, so you can leave this open, but if you're afraid that you will lose this stitch, because it's very hard to work with when this loop is open, so that's what you can do. You can use the stitch marker that you can open and close, or it can be earring, it can be like anything that you can stick into this loop like this. Close the stitch marker, and then if you want, you can pull this yarn end, and you will always, like, the stitch marker will hold this loop. All right, so after that, this is very easy part. So we will start working in rounds with our pink yarn, and we will just knit. This is really my favorite part. We will just knit and nothing special, but you need to learn how to do a magic loop if you're working with the circular needles that are longer than your head circumference. So I'm working with slightly longer needles, and as you can see, like, that's not enough stitches for the whole wire. So that's what I'm gonna do. I will work with, that's what I'm calling like semi magic loop. Move your front stitches on the needle like this. So what do I mean by front? My working yarn, my pink working yarn, is going from this side, and the opposite side stitches, the beginning stitches where I have the stitch marker, I'm moving closer to the needle like that, and the other needle is empty, and then I have some like wire after that. Then be careful, try not to twist. I mean, you cannot twist at all your stitches. Join them like this and start knitting, start working. Just make the first, insert your needle, knit twice and make your first stitch. And this one, the first one, make it a little bit tighter than normal, and then you can knit, like, after making couple stitches. You know what I want to install the stitch marker, so in my case it would be this silver. That would be my beginning of the row stitch marker. Over here at the very beginning, it will show me where my row is beginning. And all the time, so you see, I have just one loop from my right side, and all of my stitches on the left side, and I'm moving them closer to the needle tip and knitting them. Whenever I will feel that it's not comfortable anymore, so then I will take my right needle, I move stitches to the wire like this, create another loop, move these guys a little bit closer, and keep knitting. And one more time, it doesn't matter if you're English or continental knitter, it works absolutely the same. So, and you need to work like that all around until you reach this marker, which will show you beginning of the row. I worked around, I came to the marker, so now I'm just slipping my marker from one needle to another and start knitting my next row just like that. It's very, very easy. What I want you to do, I want you to keep track of your rows. So please somewhere mark the amount of rows you are doing. For my size, I decided that I will work around 20 centimeters, but as I said, I will see a little bit later, but that's before I will start decreasing. So the total height would be maybe, I don't know, 23.5, 25 centimeters. So we will see, but I still want to write down the total amount of rows because we need to do the second part of the head with the same amount of rows. So that's why please keep track of how many rows you are doing. And for me, I will work like that, just knit all around for some amount of rows, and I will come back to you very, very soon, and I will tell you exactly how many rows I did. And the next part would be to do a head crown. So we will start our decreases. All right, so I finished the length of my head. So next part is gonna be decreases. I have 55 rows right now, so I didn't do any decreases. I just worked for 55 rows. If you don't know how to count your rows, okay, let me show you. You can count it starting from that edge, cast on edge, and because we were using different color yarn, so it's very easy to see. So this is my green yarn, and the first V that we see, this is my first row, and if I count from that stitch, I will have 55 rows. So to be honest, I was not very scientific. I was not using very scientific approach, so I was just trying it on myself. And I decided that that's enough. If I measure it from the very beginning to the end, that would be 18 centimeters with my yarn. So the best solution for you that I can recommend would be to take existing hat that you already have, like flatten that, put it on the table, and measure how many centimeters or inches you have from the very beginning, from the edge, including the brim and whatever ribbon you have here. So starting from that beginning edge to the point where you start decreasing, you will see that it's usually like you will see those decreases. So measure that and do exactly the same amount of centimeters. So one more time, I finished with 18 centimeters and I have 55 rows right now. I still have 120 stitches all around, and after that I'm gonna start decreasing. And right now I will need my stitch markers. So I'll need 4 stitch markers, and I need to mark I need to divide total number of stitches into 4 and place a marker. So if you have different number of stitches that is not divided by 4, in the next round I want you to prepare the total number of stitches and make some decreases. So don't do increases, make some decreases. Let's say you have let's pretend you don't have 120 stitches but you have 122. This number is not divided by 4 and you need to eliminate 2 stitches. So you just do it at the very beginning. So you do just knit 2 together, for example, and somewhere on the other end do knit 2 together as well. You can count exactly like the middle stitches. You can do that, but not necessarily. If you have the total number of stitches that is divided by 4, so then you need to count your stitches and place markers. So in my case, 120 divided by 4, that's gonna be 30 stitches. So now I need to count 30 stitches and place a marker. Okay, I'm gonna place my marker over here. So that's my 30 stitches. Then I need to count another 30 stitches, place a marker, 30 stitches, place marker number 3, and the last one would be my beginning of the row marker. Okay, so I placed my markers, And just be careful, and this is my beginning of the row. Make sure that your beginning of the row is different color that all your other markers. So in my case it's silver marker, so when I come to this point, I will know that I finished a row. Why do I need to know that? Because we will do one row decrease, one row no decrease, and then we will repeat that to the end. So as you can see right now, I did slightly different magic loop method. So that's what I did. Okay, let me show you. That was my my work like that. So I finished it like this. This is my beginning of the row. Then somewhere, it doesn't matter where, to be honest, doesn't really matter, but for now I decided, okay, I'm going to find a cord here like in the middle of my row and start pulling the cord. I'm creating a loop like this. So then I'm taking my front stitches and I'm moving them to needle. And since my cord is pretty short, so I can have two needles with stitches right now. Okay, if you have shorter cord, you don't need to do like these things, and you can just work as usual. All right, so next row is going to be our decrease row, and that's what you're supposed to do in all decrease rows. So right after the marker, and we are right after the marker, you need to do SSK. So you slip the next stitch knitwise, you knit next stitch, and then you insert your needle into the slipped stitch and you pull the knitted stitch through the slipped stitch like that. So, and you're doing a decrease that leaning to the left. Then you knit all your stitches. You are not supposed to count your stitches. You can count it once in a while just to make sure that you have this equal number of stitches between your markers. And you work like that until you will see 2 stitches before the next marker. Okay, so I have 2 stitches and the next marker. So next 2 stitches, I am going to knit 2 together. That's very easy. You just knit 2 of them like one. So I insert my right needle knitwise through 2 stitches, and then I knit it like normal. So that will create a decrease leaning to the right. So then I'm slipping the marker, and then after marker I'm gonna do SSK. So slip next stitch, knit next stitch, and pull it through like that. So that should be decrease, marker, decrease, knit 2 together, marker, SSK. And then I work to the next marker, next 2 stitches before the marker, and I will repeat the same thing again. So, and I finish when I'll see my beginning of the row marker. That's why you need to know, that's why it should be different colors, so you will know that that's it. You need to stop your decreases. Okay, work like this to the end of this row. Okay, I'm at the end of this round. I came to my silver marker. I know that that's it, and I need to make my last decrease. So I stop before, when I have 2 stitches before the marker, and I'm doing my knit 2 together. Okay, and I'm slipping the marker. So right now I eliminated 8 stitches. After that, next row, I work without any changes and I just knit all my stitches. You can count if you want. So every decrease row will take away 8 stitches. And after that, you're supposed to do another decrease row, then no decrease, decrease, no decrease, decrease, no decrease. And you work like that. I'm going to tell you for how many rows until you keep working like that. 1 row decrease, 1 row no decrease, 1 row decrease, 1 row no decrease. And when you do decrease before the marker, you do knit 2 together. After the marker, you do SSK. When you come to a point when you have not many stitches, not enough stitches, having just one loop. So then you can start doing classic magic loop method. So how to do that? You see, it doesn't matter where you right now. I'm somewhere, yeah, I just started a new row. I'm not decreasing right now. So, and I'm gonna put my stitches like this, so fold my whole hat in half like that, and I will have my front needle and my back needle, and the working yarn is going from the back needle. Then I'm taking the back needle and start pulling it like this to create a loop. So I have one loop here, and then I need to find, like, you can count your stitches, but I recommend you don't count it. So change this position all the time. So somewhere in front of like this place, like somewhere in the middle, you need to make another wire loop like this. And just continue working your stitches. So in my case, I'm not decreasing, and I will not decrease till this point. Be careful when you move from one side to another, like here. So try to work a little bit tighter than usual, because if you're not going to work tighter, then you have very visible place when the stitch would be a little bit looser than neighboring stitches, and it's not beautiful. Okay, I'm finishing this first half of my stitches. Then I'm turning my work like this. Right now in front I should have my stitches sitting on the wire, and at the back stitches sitting on the needle. So then I take this left loop and start pulling it to move my stitches to the needle like that. Okay, so now I have both stitches, both stitches sitting on the both needles, and then I'm taking my back needle again and pull it to create another loop like this. So right now this is your, every time you begin your second half of the round with one loop on one side and another loop on the other side, and I'm going to work the same way till my beginning of the row, and then I will start doing my decreases. All right, I think that's it. That's enough decreases for me. I don't know exactly how many rows I did, but I know that right now between my markers I have 6 stitches. So in total I have 24 stitches all around. And I need to stop when I have this number of stitches. You can stop, to be honest, when you will have 8 stitches between 2 of your markers, or when you have 6 stitches between 2 of your markers. And the last row that I did was the row with the with decreases. So after that you can take away all of your markers, but I'm not going to take away my beginning of the row. And after that we will just work 2 together all around. So all stitches you will work like this. So next 2 you will do 2 together, then 2 together, 2 together, and you work like that to the end. And at the end you should have, in my case, you should have 12 stitches. And if you'll have if you will have 8 stitches between markers, then you will end up with 16. So when you come to the marker, you can take it away. We don't need that anymore, and keep working 2 together to the end of this round. All right, so right now I have just 12 stitches around, and I think that's enough for me. If you have 18 stitches, 16 stitches around, like if you end up with different number of stitches, so maybe you can do another row when you will do 2 together, and then when you will end up with 12, 10, 8 stitches at the end, so then you can stop and we can close this hole. So how to close the hole? You need to take your scissors and cut this working yarn leave a little bit longer end because it's going to be easy for you to weave in the ends. Then take tapestry needle and thread the yarn through the tapestry needle. And now we need to move our stitches from our knitting needles to tapestry needle. So you need to start, you see my working yarn, this is my last stitch. Working yarn is going from this stitch, and I'm going into the next stitch. Okay, let me move my stitches like that, and I'm going into the next stitch, into the first stitch, and insert my tapestry needle purlwise. I'm slipping my stitches from knitting needle to tapestry needle like that, and I can pull through. Now I need to repeat the same thing with my remaining stitches. Okay, pull through and tighten that to close the hole like this. Okay, so you can completely close the hole. Then I'm going to weave in this end right now. So first thing that I will do, I will bring this tapestry needle into the wrong side. I flip the head like that, and I pulled a little bit more. Then find any loop that is close to the yarn, and let's say this one. Insert your, maybe this one, this is a closer. Insert your needle under that loop, pull it through, but not to the end. Leave a loop. You see, usually I put my finger to leave a loop, and then insert your needle into that loop, and then you can tighten that. So now you have a knot, and your work will not unravel. So then you can weave in the end if you want, a little bit. But we are going to do the second layer, and then we can hide our end over there, so it's not necessarily, to be honest. So you can cut the yarn after that. I'm gonna leave it like that because we will leave it inside. So that's half of our head. This is how the top, the crown should look like that, or you can wear it this way. It's up to you. I prefer to wear it like this. All right, and after that we need to undo our provisional cast on, move stitches to the needle, and start making the second part of the head. All right, remember the stitch marker that I put on the last loop of my waist yarn, so I'm taking that away, the stitch marker, and very, very carefully, so prepare the knitting needles, and very, very carefully start undoing your waist yarn like this, very, very slowly. So undo one stitch, and you should see this stitch in our color, in our main color. So, and then put it on the needle, and be careful, put it in correct position. Correct position is that the right leg of a stitch is in the front and left at the back. This is correct position, and this is wrong position. So put all of your stitches in correct position. So then undo the next stitch very slowly and put the stitch on the needle like this. So keep working like this until you'll move all of your stitches. Sometimes I can do it even this way. So I see that this is my next stitch. I insert my needle right into that, and then I can undo it. Maybe this is the safest way of doing this job. Okay, so move your stitches to the needle like this. Okay, so I transferred all of my stitches into the needles right now. Okay, so and after that it's very easy process. So you need to take new color if you want to add new color. In my case it's this purple one, and you need to start working with the new color, and that's very easy. You can attach the beginning of the row marker if you want, so I'm gonna do that right now. And you see, I'm not gonna do any knots, nothing. I'm just holding my new color in knitting position like this and just start working with the new color. And that's it. After making several stitches, you can look inside and make a knot with these two ends, old color and the new color, so you will not have a gap. Yeah, I'm gonna make double knot. And the best thing with this project is that you don't need to weave in ends, all of them will be inside. So just keep working like that to the end of this row. And after that it's very easy. So you need to repeat the same amount of rows that we had for our first part of the head. So in my case that's 55 rows of no decreases, and then you need to do exactly the same amount of decreases. So start doing one decrease row, one non-decrease row. Yeah, before that split your stitches, like install stitch markers. So if you forget how to do that, just rewatch the first part of this tutorial and make exactly the same amount of rows for the second half of the hat. And I'll see you after that. All right, so I finished my second part of the head. So right now it looks like this. And I did exactly the same amount of rows, and I did exactly the same decreases. So everything is exactly the same. I closed the hole and I cut the yarn end. So right now you need to take tapestry needle, thread the yarn through the tapestry needle. Yeah, first of all, let's like make a security knot. So find any loop that is close to your yarn. Let's say this one. Insert your needle under that loop, pull it through, but not to the end. Leave a loop, and then insert your needle into that loop, and then you can tighten that like this. So after that, we need to insert this, let's say this purple head inside into the pink one, like that. You can leave it like this if you want, or you can secure two tops together. So I'm gonna attach two tops together. And the first thing that I'm doing, I insert my tapestry needle right into the middle of the purple head, and I need to, you see, no, this is wrong. I need to take it away right here in the middle of the pink head, like that. So right now two tops are joined together. So after that you need to make invisible stitch. So you can find, we can like any stitch. Let's say this one, I like this V, and you see there are these two loops, but we also have little ladders if I stretch it like this one. So, and I need to use this little piece of yarn, and I'm inserting my needle right above that piece of yarn and take it away on the other side. Okay, I can go right in the middle and pull that, and do the same thing on this side. Here it's a little bit easier because it's the same color. So this V, and I go inside and take it away right in the middle. Okay, and do the same thing like I did before. So find any loop let's say like a stitch, the closest, let's say this one, and insert my needle over there. So I can repeat that several more times, but I think it's already secured enough. So, and right now on this side, on the purple side, I need to make one more security knot the same way like we were doing it before. Tighten that and insert your needle inside between two layers of the fabric. Okay, very close, and take it away somewhere far. So you see on the other side I don't see my needle, so it's somewhere inside. And I'll do it one more time because I want to leave the yarn end inside between two layers of the hat. And then you can cut the excess yarn. And that's it, the hat is ready. So then you need to wash it, dry it flat, and you will have very, very warm winter hat. I was impressed by this yarn because right now you can see the knitted fabric before washing it, and as you can see, stitches are very, very, very nice. It's very rare, to be honest, to see those kind of stitches, and I think that's because of the yarn. So the quality of the yarn is really nice, and I really like the colors. As I told you before, that's the hand-dyed yarn, and like I like that it's not just one solid color, even though it looks like it's just one solid color, but there are different shades, so to make the color deeper, and it's I don't know, I like it more like this. Thank you so much for being with me today. Please let me know if you have any questions on how to knit this hat. All the links to materials that I was using in this tutorial you can find in the description box below. And if you want to make this hat and follow my instructions and then post it on Instagram, please tag me. Here you can see my Instagram account. I would be happy to see your creations. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.